He strode into the dining room with the swagger of someone convinced his mere presence demanded reverence. The restaurant fell silent, as though the air itself paused in deference. Glasses of wine halted mid-sip, frozen in the moment, and a fork clattered against a plate, its sharp chime jarring like a discordant note in a symphony crafted for love. My wife's gaze flickered, caught in a brief tussle between shame and boldness, as his voice boomed. Why wasn't I invited to this? She didn't flinch. A faint laugh escaped her lips, as if he'd stumbled over a poorly timed quip. With a graceful sweep, she reached for the vacant chair opposite me. My mistake, she said, her voice airy as she slid the chair toward him. I didn't think you'd care. My pulse roared, a blaze kindling beneath my skin. My fingers tightened around the delicate stem of my wine glass, but I held it firm, refusing to let it shatter. Not tonight. I said, standing with a calm so precise it felt almost alien. You two go on. I'm done with this marriage. My words were quiet, deliberate, slicing through the stillness like a honed edge. The silence that followed was oppressive, as if the room itself had stopped breathing. Perhaps it was only the sound of my heart fracturing, echoing in my chest. I turned and walked out, my footsteps the only ripple in that glossy veneer of a place. 10 years. A decade of loyalty, of handwritten notes brimming with tenderness, of weekends wandering new cities, of dreams whispered in the hush of dawn. Her laughter, bright and melodic like bells on a spring wind, had been the cornerstone of my existence. I built everything around it, my days, my trust, my vision of a shared tomorrow. But what I thought was love was merely a masquerade, and I had been too willing to ignore the signs. The night she lingered late, citing work. The phone she clutched like a treasure, always close. The kisses that grew perfunctory, automatic, like a habit she no longer cherished. The bed that seemed colder with each passing night. I asked her once, casually, who she was texting so often. Just work, she said, her smile stopping short her eyes. That was the first fissure in the facade. Then I found the receipt, carelessly stuffed in her coat pocket. A dinner for two, a bottle of red wine she'd always claimed to dislike. Unless that, too, was a lie. The name on the card, Marcus. A stranger to me, but clearly not to her. She hadn't even bothered to hide it. I didn't confront her. I watched. 3 weeks. 8 late nights. 2 work trips that never existed. I stayed quiet, observing as a woman I'd vowed to love drifted further into another's arms. But I didn't break. I didn't cry. I planned. Revenge doesn't ignite with rage. It starts with precision, a meticulous clarity, like a navigator charting unknown waters. I became a detective in my own life, gathering evidence with unwavering diligence. Photos of her car parked at unfamiliar addresses, call logs stretching into the small hours, GPS tracks leading to places she had no business being. I enlisted an old university friend, a tech expert, to discreetly clone her phone. The deeper I delved, the bleaker the truth became. It wasn't just the affair. She'd been siphoning our shared account. Small withdrawals disguised as everyday expenses. 1,000 here, 1,500 there. Over a year, it totaled nearly $40,000. And Marcus, he wasn't just her lover. He was our financial advisor. The man I'd entrusted with our savings. The betrayal wasn't a single strike. It was layered, festering beneath the surface like decay under a fresh coat of paint. They were plotting a future with my money, dreaming of a new house, extravagant vacations. In one text, she'd mocked how easy it was to drain the loyal husband. They laughed at my expense, and I let that stoke my determination. I buried my pain and honed my focus. The plan took 7 weeks to refine. First, I transferred all our assets into a trust under my brother's name, out of her grasp. Then I filed for divorce quietly, leveraging a prenup clause she'd forgotten. Her financial deceit gave me airtight grounds. I documented everything, every transaction, every damning message. The courts would see it all. I shut down our joint accounts, froze her cards, and tipped off the IRS. Marcus' creative accounting went beyond our finances, and that alone could cost him his career, maybe even his freedom. Then came the final stroke. I reserved a table at our favorite restaurant, the one with the wine she adored, the intimate nook she always captured in photos, The city skyline she'd post online with poetic captions. I told her I wanted to reconnect, to rediscover what we'd lost. She agreed, as I knew she would, believing I was still the gullible, predictable husband she'd manipulated for years. I made sure Marcus knew where we'd be and when. He stormed in brash, entitled, demanding to know why he'd been excluded. I caught the fleeting panic in her eyes, not at his voice, but at the timing. She didn't want this unveiled, not in public. Too late. Her hand trembled faintly as she reached for the chair, a subtle fracture in her composed facade. That's when I rose. That's when I spoke the words that shattered her carefully constructed world. You two go on, because I'm done with this marriage. Then I walked away, leaving her to face the wreckage. She returned to a bare wardrobe and a divorce petition on the kitchen table. Our home, mine now, was locked in a trust she couldn't touch. Her cards were declined. Her lover was under federal scrutiny. I sent screenshots to her friends before she could spin the story. I let her feel the slow unraveling, the absence of the life she'd taken for granted, the chill where warmth once flourished. She called once, leaving a voicemail that began with sobs and ended with venom. I didn't respond. Some call revenge petty, a stoop to their level. I disagree. Revenge is justice, a rebalancing of scales. And true justice is delivered not with fanfare, but in the quiet that follows when the truth stands bare. She thought she'd played a perfect game, but I wrote the final chapter, and I ensured every detail was sealed in,